Hey everybody, welcome back to another wonderful installment of the Big Boy Diaries. It's been a while, been quite some time since I made a video. Things have changed tremendously. Um, I think the last video I mentioned that my daughter was born. If I haven't, now you know. She's a little over a month old. She's over 10 pounds. She's growing. She's healthy. She's a beautiful baby girl. Um, I mean, she's a little fussy sometimes, but I don't really remember it with our firstborn, so it's something new. But moving forward into this journey that hopefully you yourself have decided to make. Um, if you're watching this video and you're thinking about making a change in your diet or in your workout regimen, or maybe you don't have a regimen, maybe you're considering some stuff. Um, Hopefully you're making positive steps in your life moving forward. Um, but kind of to get you guys to maybe from where I was to now. And I can't quite remember what the last video was about, so that's my bad. I probably should have done my homework, and I didn't. Sorry. Um, a friend of mine that I'd met over the DDPY community on Facebook, me and him had a very well, not really like a super long conversation. We did talk about it quite a bit, the relationship that we have with the scale. And also I've spoke with a friend of mine who is going to soon be a candidate for gastric bypass. And I was talking about, how often he weighs himself and all that. Because up to this point in my life, I always gauged my personal health with a number, that number being my weight. And that isn't to me, honestly, and if it is for you, that's great. If it works for you, fine. Make it your own. As Diamond Dallas Page says, make it your own. Do whatever you have to do. If weighing yourself all the time makes you happy and makes you want to push forward, great. But I will tell you this, to my experience, I used to do that, and I used to wake up every day and I would jump on the scale and I would go to work and I would eat my meals and I'd do whatever, and I would come home, and then before bed I would weigh myself, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, because honestly, you're weighing yourself 8 hours apart. If you're lucky, 8 hours apart, because most people don't get 8 hours of sleep. Most people don't go to bed when they should. Hits my yawn. Sorry. But as I say, if you're weighing yourself every day, here's first of all what ends up happening. You're going to see your weight fluctuate, and then you're going to beat yourself up because it's fluctuated. Because if you weigh yourself every morning, you'll wake up, and these are just numbers, these have no significance to me. You'll wake up on Tuesday and notice that you're down to 232, which, that's a victory. And wake up the next day and you'll see that you're up to 235. And you'll be like, and then you'll go over your daily meal, if you do a meal journal or whatever. Or you'll just go back and think, what did I eat? What did I drink? What did I do? Did I not, is my caloric deficit, big enough? Am I doing more work than I'm putting calories in? You'll beat yourself up. And oftentimes what I used to do is I would weigh myself one day, and then the next day I would see that I gained 3 pounds, 2 or 3 pounds, that I would get upset at myself, like most of us would in that situation if we were weighing ourselves normally. And I don't know, I haven't done a lot of research on what normally is, but I feel that every day is a little bit obsessive and unhealthy, really, I think. I don't think it puts you in a good mental place, or emotional place, mental emotional place, whatever you want to say. Um, but what, and like I say, I would weigh myself and I would see, oh, you gained 3 pounds. God, you're never going to get this weight off. Which again, looking back, I see a lot of unhealthy traits that I had with, how I gauged personal health and how I gauged success and all that with said uh, with self health. Sorry, this is the first time apparently in forever that I've made a video, so there you go. But I think at the very best, if you are going to gauge your health on your weight, that magic number, every day is way too obsessive. I think, really, honestly, once a week probably may even be too much. But and none of this comes from me doing research on it. This is just my personal opinion on it. And it may not work for you. That's fine. But in my honest opinion, if you are going to gauge it by your weight, once every 2 weeks, once a month, and two, like if you are losing a lot of weight, it will, if you see that number is way bigger, like if you was 300 pounds and you weighed in 2 weeks and you lost 10 pounds, you'd be like, Jesus, that's a lot of weight. I lost 10 pounds. And that, to me, results will breed momentum. And momentum will breed results. It's a cycle. I don't know if anyone said that. If not, I'm getting a royalty check. So there you go. But I think that you have to know where you are. Like, you have to know where you stand. You have to know what's a healthy way for you to measure your successes or your own personal health or your own personal fitness. Some people, which I completely disagree with, judge it by that number on the scale, which is fine if that's you. For me, what has been the most beneficial thing is I've gauged things by how close fit. I've gauged my success on how I feel. Do I feel better? Do I feel more fit? Do I feel myself getting stronger? To this day, and mind you, day one was probably September the 7th, something like that, right before my son's 5th birthday party. I haven't been on a scale. I could not, to this day right now, I couldn't tell you how much weight that I had gained, and I can't tell you how much weight I've lost. What I can tell you is this: I feel better. I'm in way less pain moving and getting around. Clothes fit better. I'm back down into in most clothes, because like I say, most of the time clothes are made differently, so you can't, like, it's hard to gauge just to say one size and you can wear it everywhere. In just a regular, run-of-the-mill t-shirt or sweatshirt, I can probably wear an extra large. Most clothes, the way that they're made now, I would probably be more comfortable in a 2X. I would have more room to move around. I didn't order. My mom, because she's awesome, she ordered me some DDPY shirts. She ordered me a t-shirt and then this really cool hoodie that I like to wear. But they're both in 2X and they fit really good, and I'm okay with that. But my friend Justin, he does weigh regularly. And, like I said, that's really good for him. But just like me, he has figured out that weighing yourself and judging your health or your fitness by that number isn't really, it isn't healthy. It isn't mentally healthy. because I feel that it just weighing yourself all the time or gauging your own fitness or health on that number, I just think it breeds nothing but bad, and I don't want that. And honestly, not knowing my weight probably has been the best thing for me, because I've just kept pushing, because I've seen way more results. I've seen way more, a lot more personality changes, just by gauging my feelings and gauging how I feel, on a day-to-day basis, how I feel in my clothes, how my clothes fit, what size clothes I'm in, which I would like to tell you a story. This past Sunday, it was January it wasn't Sunday, this was past Friday. January the 10th. Yeah, the 10th. I went to Walmart, and I told myself that when we go to the store, I don't know if I'm allowed to say Walmart, I'm sorry. When we went to the store, I decided that I'm gonna see how I'm doing. So I went over into the men's clothing, and I picked out some jeans. Now, when I started, I was honestly, 42 would have probably been a very comfortable fit. But as most of you know, I don't know if it's that 42 is such a common size, or that they just don't make clothes that big in most, like, I don't know how to say it, like stores like Aeropostale or American Eagle, or even Buckle or something like that. I don't think that 42 is a regular size. Or Kohl's. Kohl's is probably a good example. But either way, I was probably wearing a 40 very uncomfortably. But, you wear them, you fold them back up. The next time you put them back on, they're already stretched out from the last time you wore them. And if you say that you haven't done that, well, you're a liar. No, I'm sorry. But I took a 42, which I knew that I could wear, in Wrangler jeans, and I took a 38 in bootcut Wrangler jeans, and I did something that I'd never in my life thought I would ever do. I got a pair of 38 straight skinny straights, or I can't think how it is, but basically, like, as bad as I'd say this, I got skinny jeans and tried them on. So as I say, I got the 42s, I tried them on, pulled them up, buttoned them. I had plenty of room to move around. They was pretty roomy, and that's always a good feeling. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I got the 38s. I picked them up. The skinny straight legs, or whatever it is. I can't remember exactly how it was worded on there. I picked them up, and I was very nervous, because I haven't wore a 38 in anything in probably the last 5 years. 5 years probably to the day. Since my son was born and I started working for the company that I'm currently employed by. And as I said in my very first video, like, there had been a lot of poor decisions and emotional eating and stress eating, all that. But that's not important anymore. That was then. This is now. So I was very scared to try those clothes on. And Granted, I usually before had never wore anything that was a straight leg. Everything's usually relaxed fit or boot cut, where it's a little bit more roomy in the legs. So I pull them up, and I can start feeling them get tight around the bottom of my leg. I was like, oh, this is gonna be, this is gonna be bad. I'm gonna get really depressed about this, and probably eat some stuff and cut off on some workouts and stuff like that. And I pulled them up, got them up over my butt. I was like, maybe this may be a thing. Please excuse me, guys. I'm so sorry. But I got them buttoned. And like it just hit me really hard. I didn't cry, but I was super emotional at the time because over the last almost 5 months now, I have just, I've had to correct a lot of things, emotionally and mentally, and it's been something. It's been way different from any other time that I have tried to straighten my life out before, and I had no intentions on buying them, but when I seen that they fit, you better believe I put them in the cart and I bought them. Probably not the best decision, but I bought them, and I'm wearing them right now. And it's just crazy to me. Like, some days I don't feel like I've made that big of a difference, and other days I feel great. And another thing that I would really like to talk to you about, we've talked about the scale kind of being your enemy. What I would recommend to anyone who, if you haven't started yet and you're about to start, take regular pictures. Here's what you can substitute for the scale. If you feel that you have to measure yourself in some way, shape, or form every week, maybe it's for accountability, to keep yourself in check. Like, that's really, for me, that's what photos do. Because I will take pictures at the end of every week. I started on I think it was a Saturday or Friday night. This whirlwind of emotion started, and a friend of mine asked me how I was doing, and I said I'm not doing very good. And you can go back to the first video and check all that out. But I took a picture that night, and I don't know why or what prompted me to take pictures every week, but to me personally, I am so glad that I did, because every week I will take and I will compare photos. How I look, not my weight, not my anything, but just physical appearance. Because in all honesty, is that for the most part, anyone who's wanting to lose weight, that's why they're losing weight. There's a good percentage of people that it is health related, but for the most part, it's just because we don't feel comfortable in our skin. We don't feel comfortable with how our clothes look, or how we're carrying ourselves, or just overall how we look. I think that's what breeds most people into getting into the gym, or getting into a fitness program, or going on a diet. But that's a whole nother thing. But my advice to you, and I told my friend this as well, DDP Yoga has a thing in the very beginning of it where you take 6 photographs. These are photographs of you doing regular everyday stretches, like touching your toes in a seated position, doing the catcher, is what it's called, but it's more or less like a squat. And obviously the standing up, facing forward, profile picture. But my pictures, all they really are, is one of me turned towards the camera and one turned away from the camera. And I've took one every week, regardless of how my diet's been that week, or how many times I got to work out that week, or, regardless. Every Friday night, pictures coming. And really, I think that's a lot of what keeps me motivated, is that I know Friday night I have to take a picture. But your pictures are important, and I'll tell you why they're important. Because when you don't feel like you're doing a lot, you'd be surprised at how much progress you've actually made. Some people would probably even say that a picture every week is obsessive, and that's fine, but it works for me. It keeps me accountable. It keeps me depending on myself, because I'm the one that got me into this mess, and I have to be the one that gets me out. But a buddy of mine that I was talking to, same guy, who is a candidate for gastric bypass, told me that he had lost 63 pounds since November. So November to now, he's lost 63 pounds on diet alone. I said, dude, have you took any pictures? He's like, no, man, I'm not confident enough for that. And I think he may have misunderstood what I meant. Like, I'm not saying you have to strip down and take pictures in your underwear. Just, a picture of you in sweats or shorts and a t-shirt facing towards the camera and away from the camera. You can do whatever you want to. But to me, that's one, there's some people that take pictures of every side, front, back, side to side. That's fine too. Because, obviously you can measure areas of your legs, your backside, your butt, your shoulders, anything. But oftentimes, like I say, you will notice, when you notice that that you have results, it will give you momentum, and momentum will only push you farther, to go harder, to be faster, to be stronger, to think more. If you're just on a diet and you're really having a hard time, which I do every day, I struggle a lot every other day, because I don't like to drink water. I will listen. At this moment in time, as I'm recording this, I'm drinking Diet Mountain Dew like they need the bottles back. So there you go with that. So as I've said, the pictures that you take in the very beginning are important. And you don't have to do it like I do. You don't have to take pictures every week. Take pictures once a month. Compare them side by side. See that you're making a difference. And that will breed way more momentum, and that will breed more results. It's a cycle. Results, momentum, results, momentum. I think even Tony Robbins says something about that. I don't remember enough of it to really quote it. But it's more or less like potential, results, momentum, and when you have greater potential, you have greater results, and you'll get greater momentum, and that'll breed even more potential. It's just a cycle, guys. It's a cycle that builds off of the first step, one after another, and it just keeps coming back around. So, with that being said, my journey it's never coming to an end, I don't think. But I have probably the greatest momentum right now that I've had, just because of all the things that I see. And you should celebrate your victories, whether it's you made it to the top of the steps at your house without getting winded, or you're wearing clothes that you haven't worn in forever. Celebrate your victories. Like, that's huge. My friend that had lost the 63 pounds, dude, I blew up over him. Like, I don't know if he feels proud about it, but I told him, I was like, man, you should celebrate that, man. 63 pounds, that's huge in like 3 months. I mean, I'd be stoked over 63 pounds in basically 3 months. But celebrate your victories. Honestly, for me, I would cut out the scale altogether. Find a new way to measure your results, measure your progress. I'd cut away from the scale altogether. But that's just me. And take your pictures. Take your pictures. Compare your pictures. Because day one should never be, ever, another starting point. Like, you should never have to look at your day one picture and say, man. Or look at your last progress picture and say, man, I used to be in that kind of shape. I lost that much weight. I was that flexible at one point in time, and here I am again. Never stop. Never give up. Change your mindset. Change your life. It changes everything. I love you guys. I mean it. Hit your mat. Do your workout. Whatever it is. Love you guys. You're awesome. You're unstoppable. Unbelievable. I see you. I was getting ready to do something really stupid. I'll see you guys later. Bye.